And there it is. This is my first or second pre-record of my show, Live from My Mother's Basement. So this is actually the first one that I'm doing here in the basement. So here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. And here we are with a great actor and a great friend. This is Nick Ferraro, who decided to come down in the basement and hang out, man. Thanks
Mike,
for coming over.
Awesome. Thank
It's
you for
very
the
good
invite,
to see you,
man.
man.
Love this. First time here in the basement.
Isn't this badass? This is actually the real house that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And like every other Italian from around the tri-state area, we came down to the basement to have our macaroni, our Sunday dinners, and the kids all played down here. And now it's a huge man cave, and this is where I'm enjoying having my my podcast.
Awesome.
So we have any kind of alcohol you want. We're going to have some food. You brought some really great gifts because I don't know if that's an Italian thing or an East Coast thing, but you don't come empty-handed.
Well, you know what? I came from the Jersey Shore. If
All right.
I would have came from my home, I would have brought you my cherry poppers that I make. I'm like known for that. Like when I go to family outings and stuff, it's not like, hey, Nick's here. It's like the peppers are here.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's cherry peppers. I gut them out, aged provolone, prosciutto ham. You wrap around it, extra virgin olive oil, some fresh garlic, and
See, now I wish you could go
sorry.
home. Go home and get me the peppers. I love peppers. I love stuffed peppers, the long hots.
Oh, yeah.
You know what was always the greatest thing on Sundays? When my mother made peppers and eggs, right? You had the red pepper in there, the green pepper in there, and then potatoes.
right.
Did you have potatoes and eggs?
Potatoes with she put onions on it,
Yeah.
and garlic and
Yeah.
everything. Oh yeah,
Ah,
oh yeah.
fuck.
And then South Philly bread with some butter and aged provolone on top, and then in the oven. And then this is in the morning, and then it comes while she's cooking the gravy.
It's
You
cool.
got the smell of the gravy. Oh my god!
And you know, it's funny. You said South Philly, and now you're saying gravy, which is great because I'm Jersey, but we say gravy too. And we did that whole big thing on a lot of different shows. Is it sauce or is it
Yeah.
gravy? We grew up saying gravy.
Yep.
But I love stuffed peppers. Isn't it something that when I think about it, I'd rather have on the bast than the dinner. A lot of people calling that charcuterie now. The charcuterie because it comes on a board.
That's
and
right.
you have all your meats
Yep.
and stuff like that. So it became fufu or tapas. My mother always said antipast, which is antipasto or antipuesto in English. Well, how do you say it?
and a pasta.
Antipast.
And a pasta.
Right.
Real quick, I did a show actually in England. I was fortunate they brought me to England to do a show. So after I was done, my wife and I went to London and we stayed there a few days. Best Italian restaurant I was ever at. We just happened to stumble across it. We go in, you go downstairs, right, like a basement, and we're in like a cove. The food was tremendous. The waiter was tremendous. The maitre d', whatever, was tremendous. And I felt bad because I think he was a little upset that I didn't order an antipasto. So he goes, no antipasto. I said, no, I'm so full, but I'm ordering all this other stuff. He goes, wait a minute. Comes back with a big antipasto. He goes, it's on me. Like that. I was like, oh my God. And it was phenomenal.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Yeah. It
That's
was
so cool.
So when you say antipasto, it reminded me of that,
Well, where did you grow up?
Born and raised in South Philly.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I guess we'll talk about it, but where we shot The Sizzle, that was my old neighborhood.
Oh, no
As
kidding.
a matter of fact, I had to talk to the priest there because when we shot that one scene in the back of the church and then the neighbor came out and he almost killed us. I don't know if you remember that one because we were loud.
Oh. No, I don't think I was part of that. I don't remember any of that. I remember. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit. But that's where you grew up in that neighborhood.
That's where I grew up right across the street from the Catholic Church. I went to Catholic school and the Catholic Church, and right around the corner were the nuns. And so just tremendous stories, as you know.
You know what's really funny is I think no matter where you grow up, when you come from tri-state areas, we all do kind of grow up the same. There's the basements, there's the row homes, there's the neighbors, there's the food, there's the church, there's the friendships, and there's the wise guys, and then there's the people who try hard to make things happen in any other business, and then there's the actors like us who do anything to see if we can't get to the Robert De Niro level.
Yeah, that's
right?
right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if we had 24 hours, that's probably still not enough. I could tell you, we could probably swap stories.
Yeah.
Your neighborhood might have just keep going back and forth. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah.
I remember when I did come out to do your project, and I don't really know Philadelphia that well, but to see the row homes so stacked against each other like that, and the ambiance of Rocky to me was mind-boggling because I'm thinking, what if it was snowing? Where would everybody put their car? How do you get your car out? And everybody lives on top of each other, so you had to have been very friendly with your neighbor.
Well, that's the thing. It takes a village to raise a child. You
Right,
hear
right.
that? It's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I had, one time I'll never forget. I got into one of a few fights that I was in, and then right when it was over, I didn't win many. I was real small at the time, but I did. I knocked him out, and as soon as he fell, the neighbor grabbed me and goes, "Nicky, come, I'm taking you home." And he grabs me, takes me home, and he gave me an ear beating. But he was the neighbor, but we were all. That's the way we all were.
Yeah, so the next day you're kind of friendly, huh?
So, oh yeah. But and my father, he would. We did the 4th of July party. We got a permit. We closed the street, turned on the fire plug. The day before, the whole street was cleaned and everything. And then the next day, all the neighbors were there and with the big party. I mean, it was You had to be that way. You had no choice, really.
I remember when we were kids, we called that fire plug a Johnny pump. Did you have that slang?
Nah.
I don't know why
just
we
a fire
called it
plug.
the Johnny pump, but it was this, it's the fire plug for when the firemen come around and they use it to put out a fire. But every once in a while, there was a kid in the neighborhood, for some reason or other, he had that wrench that opened it up, and
Right.
everybody used it as a sprinkler system to cool yourself
Yeah.
or play in the puddle
Yep.
like a street kid
Yep.
for the summer.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Exactly.
then your parents
right.
were like, get the hell out of the puddle. I was like, well, we going to the beach? No, go ahead, go back into the puddle. Because you're broke. Everybody was the same.
Oh, exactly. That was our pool. Our
So
backyard
that's
pool.
your born and raised South Philly?
Yep. Yeah, born and raised. And as a matter of fact, my pop's still there. He's 17th and Rittner, across the street from St. Monica's Parish.
Right.
In pretty much near where we filmed. And he'll be 90 this year. He plays pinochle twice a week.
Pinochle? Not
Pinochle.
brishk?
Yeah, pinochle.
Brishkula?
And drives every Wednesday to get his food. He's a sergeant in the Marine Corps. I say is because one time I made a mistake and said, "Oh, Pop, yeah, remember when you were a sergeant in the Marine Corps?" And he stopped me immediately. It's like, listen, once a Marine, always a Marine. And then ever since then, I don't say was, it is, but he takes pride in that. And yeah, God bless him, man. He, great shape. Doesn't turn the AC on. I just had to talk with my brother. My brother Joe lives near, so he sort of takes after him. My parents are divorced. I take care of my mom in where I live. She'll be 87 this year.
Oh, man.
And I was talking to my brother. I'm like, Joe, man, he doesn't turn the AC on. And then we sort of paused for a second and laughed, because we knew the answer. Because every time we say something to him, he's like, I'm a Marine, and when we were in South Carolina, and the bugs were biting us and everything, and it was 100 degrees outside. He goes, I could take it. I'm like, all right, Pop, whatever. So
There's a lot of older people that won't use certain things because they figure you're going to be spending too much money. Don't put on the air conditioner. We can't afford it. Shut the lights off. We can't afford it. Sometimes it makes you become that way.
oh yeah,
Because I might even be hot some days, and I'm looking at the air conditioner going, I don't need it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I make great money. You should do what I want. But that's the thing. I didn't really know a lot about South Philly growing up. Everything we knew about South Philadelphia came from Rocky. And then when I went out there to make work on your project to see what it was like, I wanted so badly to go to the two famous cheesesteak places. What are they?
Pat's and Geno's.
And they're across the street from each other.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, they are.
Do they hate each other? Do they know each other? Do they not even care?
Nah, I mean, yeah, it's the people that make it more out to be than what it is as far as competitiveness. But it's enough cheesesteaks to go around, And they're right across the street, and you go there at like 2 a.m, and there's a line, seriously, like almost around the block.
For both of them?
Both sides. Yeah.
So did they like know each other? Did they talk to each other? I mean,
Well, I mean, over the years, yeah, and there's some things going on now, whatever. But they,
let's
yeah,
explain
yeah,
to everybody who's actually watching. Two of the most famous cheesesteak places in the world come from Philadelphia, and that's why they call it the Philadelphia cheesesteak, because every state has what their food is. So in New Jersey, pork roll, Taylor ham, not really even pizza. The state is known for pork roll.
yeah.
And then New York would say pizza. I don't know, Texas toast, grits. But Philadelphia is
Cheesesteaks.
cheesesteaks.
As a matter of
Is
fact,
it different to you? Have you been to both?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Zillions of times. But since then, I mean, I don't know if you want me to say some other places, but I mean,
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, no, I'm just saying like Tony Luke's and which has a place now in Citizens Bank Park, and I mean, like there's that, and then Nick's Roast Beef, which is very famous. Petito's Bakery. I mean, you have your places in the Italian sections in particular that are just you can spend all day just bopping around.
I wonder if there's actually people who go, you going over there? Nah, I like it better over here. They actually taste the difference in the cheesesteak?
There is a difference. There's a little bit of a difference.
See, down on the Jersey Shore, you can go to 3 different cheesesteak places, and quite honestly, they're all the same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah. Well, it's the bread, some
Yeah.
of the different types of bread, and even how I don't know, the different meats, a little bit of the meats that they use, and but there is a bit of a difference. Oh yeah.
You go to California, get yourself a cheesesteak, you want to go all the way to Philadelphia and hang yourself. So Nick came up from the Jersey Shore to be on the show. Move to your left just a little bit so we'll make sure we keep you on the camera looking nice. Yep. Nice green shirt. And he brought this bottle of wine. See, Italians don't go over anybody's house empty-handed. You got to bring something.
That's right.
You ever call somebody up, what do you want me to bring? And they say, oh, you don't got to bring nothing. Nah, come on, tell me, what do you want to bring? What don't you have? The bottom line is somebody's bringing something. I think I got to plug this thing in. No wonder why that keeps fading like that. So if you wouldn't mind, tell everybody exactly what this is and do the honors.
Yeah. So
I'll be right back.
I usually drink Apothic Red, and when I went there, they didn't have exactly the Apothic Red that I drink, but this is in the Apothic family. It's called Apothic Dark, and I've had that before, and it's pretty good. So you're really gonna test me out here. So, and
I could do it.
Yeah, Mike, go ahead, man, because I'll probably drop it and it'll spatter all over.
Here's
and then
the
show's
proper
gonna end.
here's the proper way to open a bottle of wine. You say, "Thank you, this looks great," and then you scratch out the top like this with your knife.
There you go.
Right, and bada boom, bada bing. That top comes off like that, and then you go for your little screw, which is this. I have one over there that's from my grandmother.
Wow.
This type of a thing.
Yeah.
And you shove it in here like this. Remember, there's that theory, if it's a cork, the wine's going to be good. But if it's a screw-on cap, you tell the guy to leave your house. Right?
Hell yeah. And a lesson to be learned. When an Italian asks you, what can I bring? Just tell them. Tell them one thing. Because if you don't, then they bring 3, 4, or 5 things.
All right, let's see if I'm going to do this right. I'm going to look like a minigun over here. Ooh, it's a black cork.
I better go this. There you
Look
go.
at that. I've never seen a black cork. Wow. Well, it smells fantastic.
Nice.
Let it breathe.
Hey.
Are you breathing? All right, we got these nice big fat glasses. Nice big wine glass. Where you coming up from on the Jersey Shore?
Actually, holy heck, man. Starting Saturday night, I visited my cousin in Northfield. You know Northfield, Jersey?
I don't.
It's right outside AC.
All right, so you're pretty far down south.
Oh, yeah. And then from there, OC, and hey, Chindan.
Chindan, thank you very much. That's a nice little cling. Hey.
I bypass the smell. So,
hey, that's really, really good.
isn't it nice? It's a little bit
I'm
like
not really a
table
big wine guy because I get heartburn really bad, but this
Yeah.
is good.
So it's South Jersey, Ocean City, Sea Isle. That's where I was all weekend, and then this morning I left from Ocean City, New Jersey.
Nothing like the Jersey Shore, man. Beautiful
Absolutely.
down there when you catch great weather. The beaches are great. The weather is great. The girls are nice to look at. The guys are nice to look at too. And the food is fantastic. You go anywhere on the Jersey Shore, you get an abundance of food. Especially if you go to a big fat old school Jersey diner or a Jewish deli. Big fat sandwich. I got some sandwiches here from a deli in Westfield, New Jersey over here called Hershey's Deli, and they gave us some sandwiches. So we're going to taste them. We're going to talk about that. But before we move on, why don't we talk about the gesture he just instilled on us by coming over with the wine, but he also brought some really cool stuff from the Jersey store. Start with the popcorn.
All right,
You gotta
yeah.
start with the popcorn.
There you go.
And look at
Self.
this. Bada boom. All right?
The famous.
Johnson's
This is a famous.
Popcorn, world famous quality caramel corn since 1940.
There you go.
Ah, and I have to try it. Let's see if I can get in right away. Yeah.
Fixture of the Jersey Shore on the boardwalk. You gotta.
Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't this remind you of what your father and your parents gave you when you were a little kid? Come on, can you think of what I'm thinking?
Oh yeah, the box, the Cracker
Box
Jacks.
at Cracker Jacks.
Cracker Jacks, absolutely.
Cracker Jacks.
No prize in there though.
Do you remember when you got the Cracker Jack box? If you were like us, you took it, you turned it over because you knew the prize was going to be sitting at the bottom.
That's right.
And you pulled it out. And it wasn't even that big of a deal, but you were just so excited. I think there was a time where everybody's like, I hope it's a Dakota ring, right? But it was never. Sometimes you got tattoos. You remember? It was like a tattoo.
Exactly.
You put it on your arm and it was gone within a day.
Exactly. Absolutely. Now,
Wow.
if you find yourself on the boardwalk in Ocean City, New Jersey, and you see a Johnson's, bring your bucket because they refill for a lower price.
No kidding.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
On the boardwalk there in OC, I think there's probably like, shoot, man, maybe three or four.
Folks, you
locations.
can't imagine how delicious this is. I don't know if this is the right thing to have with wine, but it is today. Wow, this is great.
Isn't it really good?
I'm not going to be able to stop. That's the one thing about popcorn. You really can't stop. Better than anything that you would have going to a theater to watch a show.
And
hey, that could be a good way to lead into your movie. We're having popcorn. Tell me about MobSense.
So
We're going to jump all over the place.
here's what happened.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out.
About three and a half years ago, I had a bad accident and got banged up pretty bad and
N.A.?
broke my left fibula broke in half. My tibia was like near my toe, dislocated, whatever. So after the operation, came back home. I sat on the couch.
How'd you get in the accident?
Oh, slipped on ice. I could have told you a better
Really?
story, but yeah.
Where, on
Yeah,
the lawn,
in-
the front
in-
of the house?
No, I was actually at somebody else's house. I was in the driveway.
Right.
And then boom, went right down. Like I heard it break, and I knew I was in trouble. And so sitting on the couch, I said, "Listen, I'm not going to sit here and be pissed and be upset." I said, "I'm going to make this a positive situation." So I grabbed a tablet, actually just like this, a tablet, and a pen, and I started to write. And then after I wrote so much, I went to my iPad and then transferred it to my iPad and continued there and started writing a feature film. And once I started writing that, I was about 3/4 of the way, and then I stopped and I started writing a short film called The Confession. And the purpose of that was to send to film festivals. I just wanted to continue to get more credits, more credibility on the IMDb page, and I produced that and sent it out to a few festivals, and had some great luck with it. And the Georgia Film Festival in Atlanta, they emailed me and said, "Listen, you're actually one of the 5 finalists. We want you to come out here for the festival, and you as a lead actor actually is one of the 5 finalists for lead actor in it." And I went there. and did not win for lead actor in a short film, but was very humbled to be considered. And then also my short film actually won Best Short Film at the Georgia Shorts Film Festival. So that was all happening, and I was continually writing MobSense, and I finished that along the way. Good friend, as we both know, Lou Martini Jr.
Lou Martini Jr. was on the show. He was down here live from my mother's basement.
Great,
He has a
great
great
actor.
career.
Great actor.
Great guy.
Yeah, great guy, great actor.
He's in this project, MobSense. So I have to say, I think you gave him the funniest line. I was very jealous. I wish I could have had that line. But when he's in that balcony and he's going, kumquat,
Kumquats.
I'm like,
Well,
kumquats.
Let me tell
I'm
you.
like, please, that is hilarious.
Let me tell you something, and this is 100% Lou. In the script, it said bananas. And then when we shot it, Ronnie and I are standing there. We're looking up in the balcony, and when he said kumquats, I had to hold myself from falling on the floor during that scene.
Right.
And then when the director said, cut, we all started bawling laughing. Because I knew what I wrote, and when you write, you envision what you write, and he.
So he did it without you knowing?
Oh yeah, he just did it, and he does it in quotes, kumquats. Oh my God, man, it was hysterical.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. So anyway, so where we're at right now, the script has been done. Lou and Tony D'Antonio, two wonderful people that are helping me produce it. And Ronnie Marmo is in the movie and helping direct it. And we did a sizzle. Thank you, Mike, for being part of that.
Of course.
Mike was great in the sizzle. Sizzle is like a trailer for a movie, but it's a little bit more extensive, a little more
It's like a resume
detailed.
to try to sell a project.
Yep.
It's a great
exactly.
sizzle reel. I did see it. He's talking about some really great other entertainers. I say entertainers because they do a lot of different things other than act. I'm friends with them as well, and they've both been on my podcast. He's talking about Ronnie Marmo,
Yep.
who is now touring the world with a play called I'm Not a Comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce, and he was down here on the podcast. I also had on the podcast in California, and the director of that project is Joe Mantegna, another guy who had as a guest on Live from My Mother's Basement. So we're all in really, really great company. And then Lou Martini Jr. has been doing movies since he's a kid, has a little association with the world-famous movie called The Godfather,
Yep.
and he explained that on my show. So you guys could always watch any of these shows, and you can look up these actors, Live from My Mother's Basement, on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, iTunes, you name it. And now we got the next legend right here, Nick Ferraro, who's talking about how he put together this movie called MobSense. How did you come to get me?
So, in my script, Mike, I originally, literally, I may have even asked you, or just not even to your knowledge, I included you in the script. At the end of the movie, you play yourself, Mike Marino,
Right.
toward the end of the movie. You're like, we're at a show, and you're finishing up your set. And in the script, I have you do about a minute monologue.
Oh, I love it.
In the script, and then when you're done, someone heavily promotes you in the movie. Mike Marino, check out his, you know what I mean? They're really promoting. And then afterwards, it's they introduce, and it's a whole story at the very, very end, but it does make sense. And they say the Philly Elvis is going to appear, and that's a surprise to my brother, who Ronnie plays in the movie. And that's just like a little joke because Ronnie is a big Elvis fan throughout the movie,
Right.
And that's the joke of it. But anyway, so while we were talking about the sizzle, and then Ronnie said, "Listen, I got a few people, we could put in the sizzle to help us out, like Mike Marino." And I said, "Oh, Mike's fantastic." I said, I wrote him in actually. I said, "Yeah, man, bring Mike in." And so Ronnie was the one that, suggested for your part.
That's really wonderful news because we're in a very tough business, ladies and gentlemen, the acting world. It can be very, very tough. And you have to know somebody somehow, somewhere that enjoys your work, that says, "Hey, listen, would you like to try to work with us?" And you say, "Absolutely." The other day I had someone on the show that's like big in the TikTok thing. And everybody's like, "I can't believe you got her on the show. I can't believe you got her on the show." I'm like, I had an Oscar winner on my show. Are you all out of your minds? What are we talking about here? While we're going to move on with this conversation, because now we're going to get to the reason why he actually said Elvis, we need to move this popcorn off this table because I can't stop eating it.
I know.
But he also brought some other jewels from the Jersey Shore.
A fixture.
Bam.
Fudge.
It's heavy. Wow.
Yeah.
This is like a real brick. Shriver's Saltwater Taffy Fine Confections.
The best.
The oldest candy store on the boardwalk, Ocean City, New Jersey. Homemade boardwalk fudge.
Yep.
Fudge.
With the fudge.
I'm going to save this for a little later because I like to have a cappuccino with fudge.
Nice. Chocolate
Sometimes,
and vanilla.
yeah, you could. Is it really?
Yep.
All right,
Two
fuck,
bricks of chocolate,
I
2
gotta
bricks
open
of
it. I gotta
vanilla. I
open
do
it.
believe.
I love everything off the boardwalk, man.
Yeah.
There used to be a great comedy club all the way down in Wildwood. It's not there anymore, but it was the best. And you were a block away from the boardwalk. You do your jokes, you go across the street, and you're having a slice of pizza. Look at this. Shriver's. You think they're Jewish? Oh. Yeah, no, I'm going to eat this some other day. Look at that. Look at that. Bricks.
Yep.
No wonder why it's so heavy. Oh, man, I want to have that, like, right now, but I'm not going to do it.
No, save it.
I'm not
Yep,
going to do it. I'm going to
absolutely.
save it. We can have it when we're done with the podcast. I just don't want to eat this because I'm going to have black shit on my...
Put that in there.
Actually comes with a knife. In case you want to go on a plane and kill somebody. But there's another staple from the Jersey Shore that Nick brought. And you can go ahead and show everybody.
There you go. The famous saltwater taffy.
Saltwater taffy. Now this we're going to have. Where'd you get this?
At Shriver's.
Oh, no kidding. This was at Shriver's too?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, come on. Show me that we're recording. Show me that we're recording.
Oh, we got to do this all over
Yes,
again.
we're good. We're good. We're good. Jersey Shore. You ever go to the Jersey Shore in the winter when nobody's around? It's pretty creepy.
Actually, over the years, though, they have done a lot of things. Like they have a Halloween walk, and New Year's Eve is real big in Ocean City, New Jersey, and the Jersey Shore.
Oh, this is so unbelievable. Look at all the flavors.
Handpicked.
Look at the flavors.
They got-
no, really?
I did
You
it.
picked
So
it?
it
didn't
was,
just
it was a
shovel?
line of boxes, and I just had a bag. That bag was empty. I went to one box, took a few. Another box, took a few. So many different, all different.
Doesn't say what it is. You got to guess?
This could be
This
peach.
is yellow. I'm going to think banana, peach,
Could be banana too. I know.
strawberry, watermelon.
They're all in there.
Are
Yep.
you going for one?
Yeah, I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna have this one here. Now,
You finished this project, MobSense.
yes.
Now, ladies and
Well, it's not finished. It's finished
the
when
sizzle.
people are enjoying it in the,
The sizzle.
Yeah.
And
the
now it's
sizzle
up to you to get it to financiers
Yep. To
or
investors.
sellers, buyers. What's the project at right now? Like, what's going on with it?
Everything is done. We're in the process of meeting with investors.
Oh,
Fantastic.
oh, this is so damn good. Oh, it's banana.
Is it? Now we could turn this into a cooking show if you want.
Well, maybe we should. You cook?
Oh yeah, my whole life, of course.
That was a dumb question.
And you know who taught me mostly?
Mom.
My father,
Oh,
my grandfather from Italy.
my father didn't cook. My mother
Oh,
did everything. Folks, this is the best saltwater taffy.
Yeah, phenomenal.
There's a root beer in here. It's a root beer. A
There's so many
Lemon
different.
lime.
There's so many different kinds.
a peanut butter. This is definitely banana.
Yeah, chocolate.
It's warm here in the basement, so this is very sticky and melty.
Yeah, you may want to throw that bag in the fridge.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I keep them in the fridge.
But then it snaps.
And my mother is diabetic.
Oh.
She'll be 87 in December. So every time I go to the shore, I get her a little box of sugar-free saltwater taffies.
This is so damn good.
Yeah.
This comes sugar-free.
That's not sugar-free, but it does come sugar-free. And you know what, Mike? Tastes just as good.
I would say there's no
sugar-free.
way you can make this with no sugar.
I'm telling you. If I sometimes I eat it, I'm like, you can't really tell the difference.
This is so damn good.
Yeah.
There's orange in here. There's peach in here. I'm looking at them. Peanut brittle flavored. All right, so we have a nice glass of wine that he brought up. Great Jersey Shore snacks from the boardwalk. He mentioned Elvis. Should I set it up or you want to set it up? Because it's said to be one of the greatest nights of your life. That's what you said, because I did watch
Yes.
all your stuff.
Yes.
Kumquat. I watched all your stuff. And why don't you go ahead and tell everybody? Because I'm a huge fan of
right.
who you're going to talk
So
about.
I'm going to tell you real quick. So people are like, well, how did you get started? And what? So I did
Talk
it.
about how you started doing
Yeah.
Elvis.
So it was like 86 or 87. And in Philly, there was a local bar that had a talent contest. The winner gets $500. So I was like 20, I don't know, 86, 87. I'll be 61 years old next month. And
Bless.
so I guess I was like 25 years old, 26 years old. So my next door neighbor was a drummer. His brother was a bass player, and I worked with a guitar player. So I said, listen, let's put something together, down the street, so-and-so bar, Brownie's Pub it was actually. They're having a talent show, $500 to the winner. I said, let's do something, So we went my neighbor's basement. He had the drum set and everything else. We're like, okay, Nick, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, we got to differentiate ourselves from everybody. So let's do an Elvis show. South Philly, every time Elvis was on TV, my mom be calling me, Nicky, Elvis is on, right? So there was always like a favorite of Elvis. So we entered in the show. Long story short, we end up winning the contest. The King and Company was the first band I put. But we weren't really a band. We just learned Elvis music. So I'll never forget it. I'm putting all the speakers away, and I got the speaker cord. Someone comes up to me and goes, where are you playing next? I'm like, well, we're not really a real band. I just came for the contest. And then I go, wait a minute. Would you pay to see me play? They're like, yeah, man, you guys are really good. I'm like, okay, I'll get back to you. So I went with the guys. I said, look, let's learn 40 songs. We'll start playing out, the King and Company. So I rented this Elvis suit, and that's how it all started. So that was like 85. 5 years before that, I'm going to tell you a 30-second story, and then I'm going to connect the two. So the first time I saw Bruce Springsteen was the night John Lennon died,
Right.
1980 at the Spectrum in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I've been following Springsteen since 1975. And I had tickets in 78. My mom wouldn't let me go. It's another story. So 1980, I'm watching Bruce at the Spectrum, and I'm seeing him, and I'm just like, oh, my God. I would give anything to be on stage with him in front of thousands of people and do a song with him. This was 1980, the night John Lennon died. So then 5 years later, I put the band Elvis. So Elvis grew and grew and grew, where I was with the Fabulous Heartbreak Band. We opened up for, we were a great 7-piece band. We did an Elvis show. We did a Patsy Cline show, girl in the band. We opened up for the Coasters, Drifters, Platters, Marvelettes, Bobby Rydell. We did that whole circuit. And I kept telling people for years, one day I'm going to sing with Bruce Springsteen. So October 19th, 2009, at the Spectrum, we flew in from Philly. We had tickets. I had my suit custom made. Cost me $2,500 for the suit with the cape and the belt and everything, the Elvis suit. And the plan was to get close to the stage. We already had GA tickets, and then you had to win the lottery to get close to the stage. So the plan was, I had a sign that said, "Can the King sing with the boss?" So sure enough, when they were picking the lottery, we had our ticket. People are like, "Let Elvis pick it." I'm like, no freaking way, man. I'm not going to be blamed for, for people that don't make it, whatever. So someone else picked it, and we were like the 60th person to get in. So we're in front of the stage. Bruce comes out. Crowd's going crazy, 20,000 people, and he's looking, and then I'm like right in front of the stage, and like he sort of looks at me, and then does this, and then he looks at me again and points and starts laughing. Right, I'm in my Elvis suit.
This is
now,
the beginning of his concert?
Yeah, this is the very beginning. All right, and I didn't show my sign yet, right? Because back then, where in the middle of his show, everybody brought signs and requests. So during the show, Clarence Clemens, Niels, they're just busting on me. Steve Van Zandt, like we're all having a great time. You know, the people around us, like everybody's just having a great time. Me as Elvis, whatever. So in the middle of the show, he goes, all right, he goes, we're gonna try this. We're graced by the king himself. And then he calls out some chords. All right, band, you ready? They start doing All Shook Up, right? Now, he already saw the sign, okay? So he's doing All Shook Up. Now, I'm dancing with my wife. My wife is there. The camera guy's on me. I'm on the big screen at the Spectrum. So now everybody can really see me close up, right? He's doing All Shook Up. I'm thinking to myself, he's not going to call me up on stage. But it's cool. That's okay. It was already like the greatest night of my life. You know what I mean? So I'm dancing. All of a sudden, I hear, come on up, King. Come on up. People are like, oh, man, come. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like my dream for years. So I remember climbing up on stage. Bruce puts his hand out, and I remember saying to myself, don't touch his hand. I don't know why I said that, but I didn't touch his hand. I stood up. We're this close together, not knowing what's going on. The band's still playing, All Shook Up. He hands me the microphone. I'm like, all right, here we go. This is it. And I started singing All Shook Up, right? It's all on, actually, it's on Netflix, a documentary, Springsteen and I. They filmed my wife and I eating a cheesesteak in South Philly on a park bench telling this story. And then I tell a little bit, and then they go right to the actual clip.
Wow.
And then they come back to us. We say a little more, and then they go back to the clip. So you can go to Netflix, Springsteen and I. You can see the whole thing.
You got to put that up on TikTok.
So
I saw it, and it's just really unbelievable.
Yeah. So anyway, so real quick, so we're doing it, and here I'm like off to the side, and I'm just doing my thing because with a band, you know, as a lead singer, this is what you do, and as a lead singer, and any musician will tell you, like you follow your lead singer, and the lead singer would change things, and a good band, good musicians will just follow, you know? So we're doing it, and then I hear myself sort of singing off key. A lot of people are like, I don't hear it, but I hear it, you know? Because everybody had like ear monitors. There was no monitors on stage.
Right.
All I hear is Max's drum, and so I'm like, I got to do something here. So I just go, hit it, Bruce, and he does his guitar solo. Now this wasn't planned or nothing. So he's doing a guitar solo. I'm like, now what do I do? Like, this train is off the track, man. It's just like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to control it. So I look at Max. He looks at me, and Max is like smiling. Then he stops because he knows, looking at me like I'm about to do something. I step back. I'm almost on his drum kit stand. I got my hand up, and at the end of the guitar solo, I go, well, it's a 1 for the money, 2 for the show. Change the song. And the band was right with me. Now we're doing Blue Suede Shoes. Now the thing is so out of control, I have no idea how to stop this thing, right? So I'm saying, I got to stop this thing. And then I see Bruce coming toward me, and I'm like, okay. I think Bruce knows, like, look, man, I got to stop this thing too. So I go, take it home, Bruce. So he goes, Elvis has left the building. I jump off stage. I'm hugging my wife. And he's like, the Philly Elvis, the Philly Elvis. That's what he called me, and it stuck. This was 2009. That's how I got my name. And at the very end, as the band's holding the note, Bruce goes, I have no idea where the fuck he came from. And then he ended the song. And I think he said that because he wanted everybody to know that this was no plant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it probably looked like they set the whole thing up.
And it's such a, you know, like the next day we stayed at the hotel in Philly, and it's funny too because my son was at the Phillies game. They were playing the playoffs against the Dodgers.
Right.
And my son was at the game, and he texts my wife, and that's his stepmom, and says, is my dad on stage yet?
Uh-huh.
And she goes, he's on there right now. He's like, no way. He's texting her, no way. And she's like, yeah, he's up there right now. He stands up at the Phillies game and goes, my dad's on stage with Bruce Springsteen. My dad's on stage.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So.
What a memory.
Oh, yeah. But then ever since then, and then they made the movie Springsteen and I, and that's when I mentioned, you know, because it was a worldwide movie, that I got booked in England and just met some of the most wonderful, wonderful people. I call my brothers and sisters, and it's just been, even to this day, just a tremendous ride. And
Are you in touch with him at all?
So, a few other instances, his book tour.
Right.
We went. My wife and I went to his first signing in it was Freehold.
Right.
And so we were all in line, and what they did was they herded cattle. Like she basically walked up, you handed it your phone, and you went like this.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
They took a picture, and then next,
Right.
So I wasn't in my suit, of course. I was just me, Nick, and I said to myself, I just want to go up to him and say, hey, I'm Nick Ferraro. I'm the Philly Elvis. So that was my turn. I woke up. And you have it. I have pictures of every single second of this whole thing as it played out, And I go, hey, He goes, hey, everybody, the Philly Elvis is here. That's what he says, right?
No shit.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then I saw him at State College, and again, I was just myself. I only now the Philly Elvis is there for just the Philly shows, and. So at State College, I was against the stage, and he was standing literally right in front of me playing his guitar, and he looked down, he looked at me and looked up, and then he looked back down again, and he pointed at me and went like that, so he, But that's the only interaction I have. I mean, he doesn't.
What did it do for your career?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, it helped me tremendously, but more importantly, this is how I met you for the first time. This is how I met Lou. So Johnny Potenza, Late Night with Johnny Potenza.
Yeah.
You were the comedian guest.
Right.
Lou was there, and I was there and I sang with Killer Joe's band that night. I don't know if you remember that, and that's when I met you for the first time. That's when I met Lou for the
Johnny
first time.
Potenza is supposed to come on the show. He has a show out in Staten Island called Late Night with Johnny Potenza. Yeah.
Yeah. And it airs here it airs in New York and in LA, I think. And so that's how I met. So anyway, the Philly Elvis. So and then the whole Asbury Park crew and Eddie Testa, who I love dearly, and all those people, musicians.
It's a great
Bob
vibe.
Killer Joe, and just Jesse Warren and Terry Camp, and I think it was Terry that contacted me for the first time, and they've been asking me to be a guest singer for the Clarence Clemens birthday bashes, and I was there and continue to meet just great people and having a great time. And actually during the Born to Run 40th anniversary, they asked me to be a guest singer, and Max was there, Max Weinberg, and he was a guest drummer for some of the songs. So I'm waiting in the back, and I'm actually going on next. There was one other song, and then I was going on after Max played a couple songs. So Max Weinberg, the drummer for Bruce. So Max comes back, and I'm standing here in my Elvis suit because I'm ready to go on, and he goes to me, "Don't I know you?" Like that. I said, "Yeah." I said, "I guess you do." I said, "I'm the Philly Elvis." He's like, "Yeah, man, how's it going?" I said, "All right." And I I didn't want to talk to him because whatever, respect And he kept talking to me. He said, "How's it going? What are you doing?" And I'm talking to him. I said, "Max, I got to ask you." I said, "Seriously now." I said, "That night when the show was done and, I said, like, did Bruce say, 'Oh my God, what an asshole, what a, whatever.' Like, I don't know, because I didn't know how Bruce took it." And he's like, "Oh my God, we loved it." He goes, "And I'll tell you one thing." He goes, "All my years with Bruce, I have never seen him give up control the way he did when he handed you the mic."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I'm sure it's probably going to be his last because I couldn't stop what was going on, and but
It's actually really, really amazing to watch. Tell everybody where they can actually see that, because it's real.
Well, you can see it on Netflix. It's called Springsteen and I. It's a documentary, and we're about 40 minutes in. Where they're filming my wife and I in South Philly, as I said, eating a cheesesteak, and we're telling the whole story, and there's more to it, and they show the entire thing. Or you can actually go to YouTube now and just type in "All Shook Up Springsteen," and what you'll see is the actual footage of me on stage with Bruce from start to finish. So
That's super, super, super cool. Yeah. And, meeting the E Street Band and hanging around with all these legends from Asbury Park is absolutely a phenomenal thing. I was actually the opening act and then became the headliner with Vinnie Pastore from The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And then I ended up meeting everybody in the E Street Band. I ended up hosting Light of Day Music Festival. And then I became really good friends with Vinnie Mad Dog Lopez, which was the original drummer from the E Street Band. I met everybody but Bruce. And the night I was supposed to introduce him, he didn't come. This other guy did it, and it was part of that just for Light of Day
Light of Day,
Music Festival. So it's pretty amazing. But tell everybody where they can actually find you on the internet and what's going on with your career now. Because one other thing, of course, now there's a movie out now about Elvis. Has this pushed you up a little bit? People starting to come.
Well, because of my acting and writing, I actually, like, for the past, really the only times now that I do, I guess, like, some songs as the Philly Elvis is when I get invited to do guest songs, guest singer, mostly in, like, Asbury Park area.
Right.
I am doing one final show, if I'm able to fit into my suit. And that is August 11th.
Put these down.
Yeah, August 11th, actually. It's a free show. It's at the Sunset Golf Course in Middletown, Pennsylvania. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, they have a huge court where they have entertainment there.
It's a Thursday night?
It's a Thursday night, August 11th.
Thursday night, August 11th is going to be a beautiful summer night, folks.
Free
Let's
show.
Go.
And I'm doing it for the local pantry to help feed the homeless in that area. So I'm asking everyone to please bring food items, canned foods when you go. But it's a free show, August. You don't need to be a verified fan, that whole thing. But yeah, it's my last full show. And
why, you retiring?
So. Well, because I can't between the acting and the writing, I have no time. It's like, it's crazy, you know. Plus, I'm, you know, look at me, I'm losing my hair. I'm barely fitting into my suits these days. Hey, I outlived Elvis like almost 20 years. You know what I mean?
Sad,
so I
isn't
think it's
a hunk of burning love.
As a matter of fact, Mike, real quick, I did a show at Millersville University. It was like 90 or 91, and a woman saw me. And she followed me ever since, and we became good friends. Italian woman. She invited me over to her house. She cooked gravy for me and everything many times.
Gravy.
She just passed away, and it was sad. She was written up in the paper because her basement, you can't even see 1 little inch of anything because it's all Elvis stuff. And she's been written up in so many magazines and papers. Anything that resembles Elvis, that's got Elvis on it, whatever, she has to get it. And she asked me one time, I had my Aloha from Hawaii suit during a show. And after the show, she said, "Oh my God, Nick, I love that suit." I said, "I'll tell you what, Teresa, here." And I took off my belt. I signed it. I said, "This is for you."
Oh, no kid.
She put that in her, so I went down to her basement. She said, "I want to show you something." When I was there one time, and it was on her wall, displayed and everything. So when she passed, her children asked me that Teresa wanted it buried with her,
right,
if I would, you know, be okay with that, and I was, and I sang at her funeral. So anyway, I'm gonna do a song for her on my last show, yeah. So I mean, I've done a lot, you know, and I'm so grateful with everything. But I'm, you know, movie, man, time for.
Yes, let's hope that we can
everything.
get this MobSense up and going.
Yep.
You know, it may be a hit movie and a sequel and then a prequel, and we could all retire on that cash. Well,
it's a comedy and a drama.
Yeah.
And real quick, so you can go to my short film. I put it on YouTube for everyone to see. You have to type in The Confession, Nick Ferraro, Ferraro. You can pull up The Confession and watch that. It's an award-winning short film. And please support all my friends, Lou Martini Jr., Ronnie Marmo, Mike here. Mike is a tremendous, well, I don't have to tell you guys, you know, tremendous comedian. And, you know, if you're ever in the Asbury Park area, please see Bob Paulding and Eddie Testa, Killer Joe, and all the other great musicians there, man. Please go out and support them. And, yeah, so you can catch me on Twitter, the Philly Elvis, Twitter, Facebook. There's the Philly Elvis and Nick Ferraro. I'm on Instagram. I'm not doing the TikTok thing.
Not yet.
Because I know, but it's like, oh my God, Madonna, I got so much stuff going on. But anyway.
Listen, I wanted to thank you so much for dropping by the basement. Thank you so much for this great wine, the popcorn.
Hey, my grandfather would go, "Hey, Nicole.
What's the matter, huh? We're definitely having some more popcorn, the taffy, and the fudge. Thank you so much. Cheers. Let's say goodbye, old school, hey? We got to get going. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, keep on watching Live from My Mother's Basement with yours truly, Mike Marino. We're making America Italian again. You don't know nothing. You don't see nothing. You don't say nothing. And I also want you to stay in touch with me on all my social media, which is at Mike Marino Live. Thank you to my producer, Tatiana Bluchel, who's out in Los Angeles, making sure that we're doing this the right way. Yeah. Thank you so much for being part of this incredible podcast and everything MikeMarino.net. Now, we always say goodbye by saying the same thing. You ready?
Don't take no shit from nobody.
Got
ready?
It? Don't take no shit from nobody.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, folks, I hope you're enjoying watching my podcast live from my mother's basement. We're having a lot of fun, and I'm going to have a lot of great guests on the show in the future. So if you like it, hit like. You could also leave a comment. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch other funny videos. And you could also listen to my podcast on your favorite podcast app like Spotify and iTunes.